For the sake of a horror story, let's assume for a moment that there is no such thing as ghosts, okay? Now that we've established that, let's proceed with the story. It was one of those rare moments in life when everything aligned perfectly. James unpacked his things, arranged his furniture, and generally settled into his new place. He liked the quiet. The old buildings had a certain charm to them, and the creaks and groans of the wooden planks were just background noise to him. In fact, he enjoyed the solitude. For the first time in years, he was living alone. No roommates, no family, just him. Was he losing his mind? Was the stress of work getting to him? Had he made the classic mistake of moving into an old, isolated apartment by himself? And as the darkness around him deepened, he realized that he was not alone. Something else was in the apartment with him, something that was toying with his sanity, making him question everything he thought he knew about reality. And as the unseen presence continued to make its presence felt, he found himself drawn into a terrifying game of cat and mouse with an entity that knew every move he made before he made it. A presence that was both terrifying and strangely familiar. A roommate that existed just beyond his perception. A silent observer that had become an integral part of his life without his knowledge or consent. He tried to convince himself that there was a logical explanation for everything, but the fear of the unknown began to take hold. And for the first time in years, he could actually afford to be alone. What if he was being watched, studied, analyzed by something or someone he couldn't see? Was he truly alone in that apartment? Or was there an unseen presence lurking in the shadows, waiting to be acknowledged? Was he going crazy? Or was the building harboring some dark secrets? Was he the latest subject in a terrifying game orchestrated by unseen forces beyond his understanding? As the line between sanity and madness blurred, James found himself trapped in a nightmare where the walls were closing in, and the only escape was into the abyss of his own unraveling mind. The apartment hunt had been long and arduous, but this place was perfect. It was located in a quiet part of the city, had enough space, natural light, and the rent was reasonable. The room was spacious and well ventilated. At first, it was just minor things. He would find a chair slightly moved from where he had left it, or a door ajar when he knew he had closed it. His television would be turned on and tuned to random channels. His books would be moved from the shelf. And then there were the footsteps. Slow, deliberate footsteps pacing back and forth in the room above him at night. He even started to second-guess himself. Was he really that forgetful? Was the apartment haunted? Then the strange occurrences started to increase in frequency. He began hearing faint, unidentifiable sounds echoing from the empty rooms, like the rustle of fabric or the whisper of voices. Sometimes it felt as if someone were watching him, always just out of sight. There was a balcony overlooking a tiny patch of garden, and the kitchen had all the appliances. To top it off, the landlord seemed nice and flexible. So it was a bit of a surprise when James got the call saying that he got the apartment. But surprises were good, especially when they came in the form of good news. So he moved in. It was just another ordinary apartment in an ordinary building in an ordinary city. It took him a while to notice the changes in the apartment. He tried to rationalize it. Old buildings had quirks, he told himself. But as the weeks went by, the quirks became more pronounced. At first, James had laughed it off, but as the incidents continued to pile up, a sense of unease began to creep into his life. What if there was something in the apartment with him? In a world where the supernatural and the mundane intertwined, he was left to confront the horrifying truth that sometimes the greatest fears are the ones we cannot see.